you feel like you don't want to go back to work. All right? So we want to try to avoid, that long, extra long vacation. Let's get started. So listen, it's summer. All right, let's just take a, you know, brief synopsis of what's going on. It's hot. All right. So for all you sunbathers that like going to the beach and to the pool, or just, laying out on your porch, we had talked about vitamin D. This is actually a good time to absorb some sunlight and bring your vitamin D levels up. But remember, all right, 20 minutes. 20 minutes of sun exposure is enough. Afterwards, please wear your sunblock, minimum SP10, SP15, SP20, minimally. All right, especially if you're going to be out in the sun. If you're going to be out working in the yard or on the golf courses or walking the beach, listen, nothing wrong with wearing a hat. Try to keep that sun off your head. People like me, we definitely got to keep the sun off our head. Outside of that, like I said, try to avoid prolonged sun exposure. And most importantly, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. We've talked about many times about the importance of being hydrated. You don't always have to drink your water. You can eat plenty of fruits, okay, and vegetables that are loaded with lots of water, like watermelons, peaches, oranges, those types of things, loaded with water. All right. Also, it has other vitamins and nutrients in it. Like I mentioned before, especially because it's so hot, you're going to sweat a lot. Make sure you replace not just water, but other electrolytes as well. So things like Gatorade is very good. I know if you're an athlete, they got Gatorade on the sidelines. That's, they claim that Gatorade actually started down in the state of Florida, because, they have their 2 and 3 a day practices for the football teams, this time of year. And listen, it's cooking in Florida. All right. Especially when you're out there in full gear. So they actually are the ones that are supposedly responsible for developing this special electrolyte drink that's hit mainstream America. So listen, hydrate yourselves. I can't stress that enough. Try to, you start to feel a little overheated, or you're starting to feel excessively warm, get yourself to a cool area, cool down a little bit. Be mindful of older folks and smaller folks, all right? Because, just because we're out in the sun, you might be in Disney or you might be on vacation in the Caribbean, even though they love the hot sun, they can't really tolerate it the way full-grown adults can. So you got to make sure you kind of limit their exposure, keep them hydrated, keep them cool as much as possible. Listen, nothing wrong with wetting them down with the hose or throwing them in the pool, so to speak, but make it fun. Don't hurt anybody, So keeping cool, play safe. If you have a pool at home, all right, make sure that when you're not using it, the gate's locked. Think about, swimming pool alarms so that little ones don't, get curious or just want to go out and have fun without mommy and daddy and go sneak off into the pool. Play safe at home if you have swimming pools at home or even at the parks. Listen, if you can't swim, don't jump in the deep end. All right. Some places, they don't have clear demarcations as to where the deep end begins. So sometimes people just accidentally just jump in, not realizing that, hey, they can't touch the bottom, and they find themselves in trouble. Don't think that it cannot happen to you. All right. It happened to me. All right. My own brother-in-law. Hey, we laugh about it now. I'm thinking that he can swim, but he jumps off, the diving board and floats his way to the shallow end, stands up. But somehow or another, he jumped in and he didn't float. He just sank right to the bottom, and I'm looking at him, we're out there enjoying the summer, cold beer, laughing. And I'm watching him. I'm thinking he's playing around, but he's really struggling to get to the side. And I'm like, wow, he's drowning in my pool. I couldn't believe it. This is actually when we first got the pool. This is a long time ago. So I had to get him out of there so that you know that no unfortunate accidents would happen. I wouldn't even be able to explain that to my nieces, nephews, or to his sister, my wife. That would be just disastrous if something like that happened to him. But listen, it can happen. All right, people just you're having fun, you're playing around, you're goofing around in the water. Remember, it's a lot of fun, but if not utilized properly, it can be very dangerous. I mean, you saw the news this week. You know, there was a couple of drownings this week. Older guy got caught into the riptide on the beach. Um, it took a while to find him. A little boy drowned over in Prospect Park. You know, people just wander out, for whatever reason, and thinking that the water's shallow, and whoops, they fall off, and now they can't get back. You have to be safe when you're playing in the water. And if you can't swim, listen, don't go into the water by yourself. Make sure you're supervised just in case something happens. The worst thing is for someone to come out and see you on the bottom of the pool. That's not what people want to see. Okay. Florida, anywhere in the Southeast, listen, I know this is unbelievable, some of the things I got to say. It's the law says you have to have some kind of barrier around your pool, a fence, gate, whatever you want to call it, wall. All right. In Florida, that's important because of the wildlife. Wildlife tends to roam, and they like water, so they hop in the water to cool off. That's what they do. They live in the water. If you live in these states, before you just go jump in, take a look and see that the bottom, you can see the bottom of the pool, and that there's nothing in there that shouldn't be there. If there's something in there, call animal control, have them come and get it. You don't want to find out if something in there after you jumping in the water. There was a movie some years ago, I think it was called Stanley. And I remember there was a scene where the guy comes off the diving board and he's doing his famous dive, but when he happens to look into the water, well, he sees a whole bunch of unwanted visitors in his water. It was almost hilarious to watch this man try to turn around in midair, which is not going to happen, and not fall in the water. But unfortunately, it's the movies and it's a horror movie, so you already get the picture. All right. So we want to. The key is, we got to be safe. All right, in these pools. Okay. All right. Listen, no electronic devices around water. I mean, come on. We should know better than that. All right. So we don't want to be plugging anything in, to hear our favorite song and holding it while we're in the water dancing. And, unfortunately, when you are, you, in this profession, you just see and hear the strangest things. But these strange things occur commonly. Okay. And people, come on, we gotta be smart. All right. Listen, motorists, summertime, kids are home from school. All right. Now we have to be careful. I know you're trying to get from point A to point B, but kids are out playing ball, they're riding their bicycles, scooters, skateboards. Let's be mindful. All right. Especially coming through neighborhoods that kids can pop out from in between a car or from behind the bushes at any time. All right. So go slow enough so that you can give yourself time to stop. All right. It's unfortunate for a family to lose a small person because you're in a hurry coming through their neighborhood, or even if it's your own neighborhood, backing over a child or running into a child, especially if you know the family or the child. That can be really devastating for both families. All right. So we have to be mindful, of what we do. People, all right, there's crosswalks for a reason. All right. Let's use them properly. When when the arrow says go or the little green man pops up, that's when we walk. All right. We don't cross against traffic. All right. We don't try to run to the middle and then run to the other way. We don't cross highways. All right. Highways are not meant to be crossed. All right. You'd be surprised how many times you're coming down I-95 or any other major highway, and you see people crossing the highway. All right. To get to I don't know where they're going, but listen, we've all been there. We've all been young, and we've all done silly things. So, we want to, keep in mind that safety. Summer is supposed to be a lot of fun. All right. But unfortunately, sometimes people do get hurt. All right. Because they just get a little bit too overexcited. They're not paying attention to the next guy, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Alcohol. Listen, there are going to be enough barbecues, beach parties, backyard parties. You got 4th of July coming up. Here's the thing. If you're going to drink, don't drive. Get a designated driver. All right. I mean, if you're going to smoke, all right, because now we're into the smoking era. All right. People are smoking marijuana or drinking, whatever you want to call it. All right. If you're going to, unfortunately, indulge in any substance, okay, that will, so quote unquote, give you a buzz or make you high. All right. Please do not get behind the wheel of an automobile. All right. Or a motorcycle or anything electronic, scooter. I don't care what it is, ATV. All right. Give the keys to someone else. All right. If there's no one to give the keys to, catch an Uber, catch Lyft. All right. If you're at a friend's house or family's house, sleep it off. But do not drive under the influence of any substance. All right. The worst, don't think that just because you made it to your neighborhood that you're safe. A lot of accidents, unfortunately, happen within a couple blocks of your home. I think a large percentage of them do, as a matter of fact. So don't think that once you get the majority of the way, wow, I'm home free. No, you're not home free. All right. And just because you make it this time doesn't mean you're going to make it the next time. Let's practice good. Let's just practice good safety measures. All right. If you're drinking at the party with your friends, you're at crab feasts or you're at barbecues, you got beer. You guys are doing Jello shots or whatever you do. You're making sangria punches or special anything. With alcohol in it. Listen, you don't have to drive. If you do have to drive because you got to go to work the next day, listen, call an Uber if you can't get somebody to drive you home. All right? Let's be safe. I want everybody to enjoy the summer and make it through without any problems. Okay? Especially problems like that. I mean, these are things that are all avoidable. Accidents, all right? I've done the research regarding accidents. The accidents are actually one of the leading causes of people's demise. And I was actually shocked to see some of the what do you call it? Just some of the statistics. And if I can find it, or I might have to go to commercial, come back and share it with you. But I don't mind. I'm gonna take a quick look. I know I jotted it down, and it's funny. I was just talking to a child about Dora, so I'm calling it my handy dandy notebook here. I may not be able to find it right now because I guess I'm in a hurry. But either way, we want to be safe, and like I said, accidents are very, 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 that's like one of the highest causes of death that are out there. I was just shocked to see it, So what I may do is go to commercial in a little while. I'm just going to see if I see it. This is unbelievable. I can't believe I lost the page. It's funny. I feel like I'm on, live interactive television here. Oh boy. Anyway, but that's the one thing. Accidents. I look like I'm not going to be able to find it right now, but I can either share it with you later or at another time. But I was just shocked to see some of the data associated with some of these, some of the things that are going on. Just the number of mortalities that occur. But that's that. That's the alcohol related spiel. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, today was we use the mnemonic rice. Okay. Rest, ice, compression, and elevation. All right. That mnemonic is a mnemonic that we use and we try to share with people that suffer from acute injuries or even chronic injuries at some point. Nowhere in that mnemonic do you hear the term hot, such as hot pack, hot tub, heat, such as heat liniment. You don't hear any of that. You don't hear anything that says warm or hot. It says rest, ice, which is cold, compression, a wrap of some sort, and elevation that bring the swelling down. Why I talk about these things, because there are a lot of injuries in the summer from playing sports, horseplay, etc. So you got a lot of knee, ankle sprains, shoulder, wrist, you name it. You got all kinds of issues. Okay, so you hurt yourself, okay, for whatever reason. Me and one ways to do that. All right, just like I say, okay, first thing you gotta do is rest it. All right, whatever you were doing to cause it, you got to give yourself a little break. Ice packs, ice baths, ice water submersion, cold showers, key. All right, compression, which we talked about, ace wraps, okay, braces, elevation, bringing the affected limb above the level of the heart to help with the swelling. Okay, these things are important. If you think about football players, now this is the beginning of their preseason training, their summer camp, so to speak. They're out there running in the heat, beating each other up. All right. And this is going to be their life for the next 9 months. Okay. Pretty much from now all the way until next January, if they're lucky enough to get into the postseason. But they're going to spend the next 6 to 9 months really going after it, and their bodies take a real heavy toll. Now, if you ever notice, if you played sports or you know anybody that played sports, that afterwards they go submerge themselves in the ice bath. Okay? They submerge themselves in the ice bath. Why? Because it's therapeutic, it helps take away the pain, and it speeds up the recovery process. They can't sit on the sidelines too long. Why? Well, if they sit on the sidelines too long, it may ultimately affect their future earnings. So they need to be on the field. That's their job. They got to be on the field. You need to be at work. You can't be taking off work and things like that. So we need to get you better and get you better quickly. The easiest way to do that is ice. All right. There's a reason why you prefer heat and not ice, because ice is uncomfortable. All right. I don't like it because it's cold. You don't like it because it's cold. All right. It's uncomfortable. It's not relaxing and pleasurable like sitting in the hot tub. It's like you're sitting in this ice bath and you plunge your foot or ankle into this bucket of ice water and it hurts. All right. It hurts until it goes numb. And it's the most uncomfortable feeling that you could possibly experience. And I get it. All right. But if you want to get better and you want to get better quickly, all right, you get yourself in that ice water. All right. Use those ice packs. All right. If you can submerge yourself, that's better than putting the ice pack on. But if all you got are ice packs, use them. Okay. It's important. All right. Why? Because there's really nothing else that's going to make it better, except time. All right? Time will make it better, but it's going to take a long time. You want to get it better faster? Ice, 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 ice. All right? Now, that goes for anything. One of the biggest problems I see, which is, actually this week, I just heard a lot of people suffering from what we call torticollis. All right? Why do people suffer from torticollis? Well, a lot of people have been out, hanging out, partying, drinking, hanging out late at night. As soon as they sit down on a chair and they're relaxed, what do? They fall asleep. You see how my neck did? You fall asleep. Your neck is in an unnatural position. All right. You wake up in the morning and you got this crick in your neck, and it hurts, man. You can't turn to the right. You can't turn to the left. You try to drive. You got to turn your whole body because you can't look behind you, and you're suffering. All right. You can't find a comfortable position to sleep at night. You got to raise one arm. You got to turn on your side. And every time you turn, you wake up. You don't get a good night's sleep. All right. You go to the doctor. He might give you some Toradol, but only lasts for a little while. They might put you on some pain meds. Pain meds don't help, especially if it's shooting up and down your arms. Nothing seems to help. You're suffering. All right. I've seen this 1,000 times. People talk about it like you wouldn't believe. All right. Everybody's had this problem. People are going to have this problem, and it's never going away. Why? Because you're falling asleep watching TV. You're staying up too late at night because you want to be outdoors long, and you're falling asleep, taking naps here and there, and your neck is just in a bad spot. All right. It's just it's just poor mechanics is all it is. It could be as a result of a pre-existing injury. You may have gotten whiplash, a sports injury. You may have fallen some time ago, and you may have some issues with your neck, but it doesn't bother you until that night you just happen to fall asleep in a funny place and you get that bad spasm. From the back of your head all the way down into your shoulder, and the top of your shoulders into your shoulder blades. It can go all the way down to your hand. You can feel numbness and burning pain. You name it. All right. Doctor give you all kind of medicine, man. Motrin, narcotics, which you should never take. They might give you something for the neuropathies because you got the numbness and tingling, but nothing works. You're just suffering. You go back and forth, like, give me more. I'm dying. Help. I can't sleep at night. All right. So, not being able to sleep at night now, what? It just gets worse and worse. Guess what'll fix it? Okay. All right. My wife will guarantee she'll attest to that. All right. Because she had it some years back. What did I do? I put her up. I stuck her in the cold shower and held her in there. All right. Let the cold water just run on her neck. All right. We sat there, and for 20 minutes, she stayed under that cold water. She was not happy, asking, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Hey, I can't sleep. You can't sleep. I can't sleep. So now we're going to fix this. All right. What happened? Out the shower. She lays down, out like a light. All right. Guess what? No more pain. So what's the moral of that story? You got aches and pains, like problems with your neck, problems with your back. Take that cold shower before bed. All right. It's going to turn the inflammatory system off. Okay. All right. Going to help you relax even more. You're going to get a good night's sleep. Now, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. All right. Now, you wake up in the morning and you want to get yourself going because you're a little stiff, you're a little sore, and you're like, oh. That's the time you take the hot shower to kind of loosen everything up and get yourself going. All right. That's the only time that we're going to use heat, is we want to get ourselves going. But any other time during the day, if it's not in the morning when you're waking up and looking to move on through the day, ice, 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 ice. Nothing else. All right. Just that. All right. So with that being said, all right, listen, let's talk about the foods we eat. Let's talk about the foods we eat. It's summertime. Okay. People, if you're going to make foods like potato salads, egg salads, tuna salads, fruit salads. All right. Anything cold. All right. What does that mean? Let's keep them cold. All right. They're made to be cold. Let's keep them cold. You got people coming over. You're taking the cold thing, you're putting it under the hot sun. All right. The temperature is going to do what? The food temperature is going to come up. Guess what happens when the food temperature comes up? So does the bacteria. The cold keeps the bacteria in check. No bacteria. Okay. You let it get hot, those things can just pop up from anywhere. Right. So what happens to your guests? Well, they all go home and they got acute bouts of E. coli, diarrhea, so to speak. Everybody got diarrhea the next day. Okay. You're cooking crabs. Okay. Yeah. Keep them on a warmer. Okay. If you cook them early, keep them on ice and let people warm them up as they want to eat them. All right. I say crab because I'm a Maryland guy. We like crabs. Okay. All right. I don't eat them anymore, but my family, they seem to love them. Seafood, same thing. You're not eating them, keep them cool. All right. When people are ready to eat them, if they like them hot, heat them up then. Okay. And then let them eat them. All right. Let's try to keep people safe. Hamburgers, hot dogs. All right. Yeah, it's okay. You cook them early. They're sitting on the side on the plate. People are ready to eat them. Put them back on the grill. I can't believe I got sound effects. Anyway, put them back on the grill. Make them nice and hot. Kill those germs. We're gonna serve you up properly instead of improperly. I don't want anybody to go home, and be sick from eating my food. Okay, that's just not a good look. And that's anywhere you go. All right, anywhere you go. And honestly speaking, I love people. But just face it, some of them are just nasty. I don't know how else to put it. They're filthy. Okay, so if you don't know the people preparing your food, don't eat it. All right, some people they just not right. They go to the bathroom, they don't wash their hands. They wiping their nose, they just mixing the food up. No gloves, just it's horrible until you see it. They sneezing in your food. Oh my gosh! I just keep right on preparing it up for you, and they're gonna serve all that to the whole party or to the whole restaurant. All right. So be mindful when you're preparing food. All right. Wear your gloves. All right. Because face it, a lot of summertime foods require your hands. It's a lot of fruits, a lot of salads. You're mixing things up. So you know what? If you're going to be chopping up vegetables or fruits or making up special things, your sangrias, cutting up your apples and throwing them in there, make sure you're using a clean knife. All right. Don't use the old dirty dish rack. You're wiping the knife off. You wipe it off the fruit and replacing it with the bad stuff. Okay. So just be mindful of what you're doing. I know sometimes you're in a hurry, but be mindful that, when you're going to have these summertime things, that the goal is to have fun. All right. We don't have fun tomorrow, but then the next couple of days, man, we're just suffering because, oh man, I ate Miss Jones' chicken. She ain't cooking all the way that I'm cooking over here. All right. You're spending the next couple of days in the restaurant because, the chicken wasn't prepared properly or, somebody's dirty hands got in it. I mean, anything is possible. Chicken is notorious. I don't know who told people that they could take a piece of raw chicken, throw it on the grill, cook it up, and be ready to serve. Because anybody that grills chicken know that if you cooking chicken that way, only the outside is done. The inside is never done. All right. So, those things got to be kind of pre-prepared before you grill them to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. All right. I generally smoke mine pretty much overnight. And I know that by the time I'm ready to grill anything, that it's been smoked and it's pretty much already done before I even put it on the grill. All right. So you want to practice safety. Wash your hands. All right. Wear your mask if you have any kind of communicable issues going on. If there are people that are sick, don't stay home. Don't come over. I don't want you over my house if you're sick. I don't want to come to your office party or to your pool party if you got people around here that are doing well, because I don't want to take it home with me. One last thing. Lyme disease. Man, oh man, oh man. Them ticks, man, they're a pain in the butt, aren't they? You know, I like golf. All right. I'm out there walking the golf course. At the end of my golf round, all right, you got to get in the water. All right. You got to take that shot. If they have facilities at the golf club that you're in, or the golf course where you're at, take your shower there. Soap up good, hot lather, rinse off. A lot of times, if you have any unwanted visitors like ticks, they're gone after you take that shower. Okay? All right? If you got to get home, that's the first thing you got to do. All right? If you're outdoors, so this is outdoors time, and we get them deer all over the place. They're everywhere now. I mean, like, I've never seen so many. Okay? They're annoying. They're everywhere. You can't go anywhere without seeing them. All right? Which means you got deer, ticks everywhere. You want to make sure you check yourself or have someone check you. All right. Check your legs, check your back, check your scalp, check everywhere, especially any place you have hair, to make sure that they're not just lingering and biting you. If you get bit by a tick, you got to go to the doc and get checked out to make sure you don't have Lyme. All right. And they may put you on some antibiotics for a couple of weeks. All right. And if you do have Lyme, well, the treatment's going to be a little bit longer and a little bit more uncomfortable. All right. Wear insect repellent. They got so many, all right, on the market. They got some natural ones. I mean, I play golf, so to keep the mosquitoes and the bugs off me, I use the Avon product, Skin So Soft. It smells funny, but it always works for the mosquitoes and also for these little other ticky bugs. Keep them off you. All right. Little greasy. It smells funny, but at least it does help. But it's got a little more expensive now, since they found that they sell it now at some golf courses, especially in Florida. Avon Skin So Soft. I can't believe it when I saw that. All right. They got all kinds of repellents to keep these things away from you. Use them. If you're going to be in areas that have a lot of woods and high grass and weeds and all those things, golf courses, for me anyway, you can't keep the ball in the fairway anyway. But even if you do keep the ball in the fairway, the beach, also notorious for it. All right, then you gotta wear protective clothing. All right, I know it's hard to wear protective clothing on the beach. Okay, so you got to definitely be mindful, all right, about where you are, and just, use these things to protect yourself. I know I said last but not least, but I forgot one more thing about the beach. Listen, don't go swimming alone in the beach, all right? Be mindful of these riptides, all right? If you've never seen one, ask somebody that does know what it looks like to show it to you, all right? You can actually see it sometimes when the waves are, waves come in, you see it pulling. When you stand in the sand, you can actually feel it kind of pulling you. All right, you can hop in it sometimes if you're a strong swimmer, and it'll take you out a good little ways. All right, if you get caught in it, don't fight it. All right, the way to do it is either you just ride it out, all right, or you swim perpendicular to it, just kick hard and swim. Basically, if it's riptide's going this way, you want to swim across it, all right, and kick yourself out of it. All right, they're not that wide, so you can just kick yourself out of it, and then you can get yourself back, to shore, no problem. The ocean is full of big fish. My family always asks me, what's my obsession with the big fish? Well, because I just don't want to be anyone else's dinner. Okay, I don't like those things. They're huge and they're not very nice animals. Okay, don't swim alone. You got open sores, open wounds. Don't get in the beach. All right, and if you have to swim out, like I said, don't be out there by yourself. All right, this is just a weird time. I mean, there's so many of them. The food source is a little bit depleted. I guess because of all the fishing they've been done. They're a little bit confused because the temperature of the ocean is a little bit odd. The they're coming closer to shore. I mean, personally, me, I tell my family, let's not go to the beach. I'll sit on and look at the water, but I'm not getting in. They got swimming pools that are okay. I'll get in the swimming pool, but I'm not getting in the ocean anymore. Other than that, I mean, the key is just to be safe. That's all I want everybody to do: be safe and have a blessed summer. And last but not least, I don't know what the status of the Titanic submarine. Everybody pray for those people. See, let's pray that they can locate them and get them back safely. And just let's pray that nothing bad has happened to them. Outside of that, once again, it's chopping it up with the doc, and have a good week.